Hi, my name's Tony Exel.
And I'm Siobhan Escario.
We've been in the Philippines for the past 5.5 months, filming for and promoting our company TXL Underwater Video.
Our filming projects have taken us all over the Philippines and have been a real adventure. We've traveled over 10,000 kilometers to 17 different locations, taken 14 plane rides, 18 ferry rides, 24 long taxi rides, and done 250 dives, which equates to about 11 days underwater.
Last year we made a film of our top 10 favourite dive sites, but this year we've done so much more, we've decided to make a longer film to show you what we've been doing below water and above water.
So now we'd like to share with you our 20 top memorable above water experiences and our top 15 favourite dive sites.
Which experiences and dives make it onto the list, and their ranking is purely subjective. And we've debated and mulled over them for hours, obviously with the help of some red wine and some San Miguels. There's so much to talk about that we've decided to make it into 5 parts, this being the first. So, while this is downloading, put on the kettle, make a cup of tea, and sit back, relax, and enjoy. Done. Salamat.
Salamat.
Right, that's the introductions done at last. Believe me, filming it was a struggle. It took us 3 sessions and about 75 takes, hence the big smiles and kissy bit at the end. The format we'll follow for the 5 parts of this series is to first show you 4 memorable moments above water, followed by 3 of our favourite dive sites. Starting off then, we are on a filming project for the Dacac Park Beach Resort in Zamboanga del Norte, in the northwest of Mindanao. We'll talk more about Dacac Park later on, but we visited the island of Alaguay, where the owners of Dacac have another resort. We'd heard from the staff working on the island that dolphins were quite regularly seen in the early morning passing by, so we decided to get up early and go and have a look. After all, dolphins playing in the bow wave of a boat can fit into any film. After searching for nearly an hour, we finally found what we'd been looking for, or so we thought. On closer inspection, we realised that they weren't dolphins, but pilot whales, and big ones at that too. Pilot whales are quite common, but rarely do you see a pod of this size. At first they seemed quite shy, and would submerge for long periods before coming up for air, but after a while they seemed less concerned and allowed us to get us quite close. So close in fact, that you could hear them breathe when they came to the surface. Not a bad way to start the day. The island of Bohol. Famous for a few things, but most notably its unique geological formations known as the Chocolate Hills. And in true Filipino fashion, things of genuine natural beauty are improved with the help of concrete. We were filming for the London office of the Philippines Department of Tourism, which you'll hear much more about. We had 2 days to film the key highlights of Bohol, but the weather wasn't playing the same game. The first day's visit had yucky grey skies, not exactly picture postcard quality, so we decided to reshuffle our schedule and return the second day, this time to an unimproved hill. The weather was better, with glimpses of blue skies, but still rain was in the air. So we waited, and we waited, and we waited, and with a bit of entertainment from the local kids who came up to have a look at what we were doing, finally the clouds and the rain were blown away and the sun came out and I got my shot. Dacac Park Beach Resort, quite possibly the most surprising resort we have visited in the whole of the Philippines. Surprising on so many levels. Its size, for example, it's huge. It's in the grounds of 35 hectares. It can accommodate over 850 people. It has 3 swimming pools, 4 restaurants, 3 bars, covered tennis courts, and a 9-hole golf course which will soon be replaced with a Greg Norman designed 18-hole championship course. Surprising also for where it is. Dapitan, the nearest town, is a small sleepy place, only put on the map because Jose Rizal, the national hero, spent 4 years in exile here. But people come from far and wide, and lots of them. We were employed for 12 days to film some of the dive sites, plus the resort and all its amenities and activities. 12 days may sound a lot, but believe me, we had 0 time off. Days started at 8 AM and invariably went on to film the bars and the restaurants well into the evening. We had a lot of fun here, especially when filming the activities. From a filming perspective, I was kept on my toes every day with new challenges to be able to get the shots required. I was very glad to have my 4 underwater video lamps when we were told about filming these caves. Filming wakeboarding, yes, you can also wakeboard here too, is another challenge. To be able to keep the camera steady enough and also not to get it trashed by the spray. Quad biking up in the surrounding mountains would have been good fun, but sadly there wasn't enough time for us to have a go to. One of my favourite activities to film was the golf. Having spent ages travelling to the golf course, we realised there were no golfers around to film, and a golf course is not exactly the most exciting subject to film without a golfer. So, being a hacker myself, I volunteered to do the business. Despite only wearing chinelas, I think I'll do okay. I feel inspired to challenge my brothers to a round when I get home to England. Rizal is part of the very fabric of Dapitan, and we spend a day filming the story of his time here. Another first for me, filming from a crane. One of the many things I really liked about working with the team from Dakak was that if we needed some equipment to do a job better, we got it. This is a relief map of Mindanao. You'll see this again later. Staying in Dapitan, this is Gloria's Fantasyland, owned by the same company as Dakak Park Beach Resort. 3 hectares of theme park right in the middle of Dapitan town. Siobhan and I were once again left open-mouthed. How can this place exist in the relative middle of nowhere in the Philippines and be of such high quality? Okay, it's not Disney, but for the many thousands of Filipino people that come here, it might as well be. It took nearly 2 years to build and has been open for 3 years. I've no idea how much it cost to build. More than a few $1 million, but in my books it's highly commendable that the owner, Chairman Romeo G. Haloshos, can invest so much in the project and provide so many job opportunities and employment to the local people. When you spend a bit of time in the Philippines, you start to readjust your expectations of how things are and the standards you are used to in the West. Here you have to think again. This place is run by first world people in a third world country. It genuinely works. By my own admissions, I can be a bit of a grumpy git at times, but even I had to smile on my face the whole evening. The energy of this place is infectious. Time to move on to mellower things now, and the first of our favourite dive sites. I've dived a lot in Southern Haiti. I love it there. I rate it as overall the best land-based diving destination in the Philippines. Lots of very healthy dive sites, and you're pretty much guaranteed to have it all to yourself. In March, we joined a safari trip organised by Saavedra Dive Centre. I called up my mate Jun, dive master at Peter's Dive Resort, and he tells me he's found a new dive site, Jun's Pinnacle. Obviously, I'm curious and excited and invite him onto the boat to take us there. We were not disappointed. Jun found the pinnacle by luck when diving the nearby dive site, Ghost Town. Strong currents made it hard for him to stay on Ghost Town, so he decided to drop down the wall to see what's there. Lo and behold, a pinnacle presented itself, covered in big bushes of black coral, good-sized schoolback fish and snappers. A new dive site was born. What I find quite remarkable about this place is the health and abundance of life that exists there when you take into account where it is. This is located right in front of a small village called Santa Paz, about 10 minutes north of Napan Town. It's not a sanctuary and receives no particular formal protection. Normally, this would have been fished out and covered in nets and fishing line, but here the locals have looked after their environment. Moving back onto the main reef wall and into the shallows is a typical Southern Leyte landscape, with beautiful hard corals all over. If you know the way, you could make it back to Ghost Town and try your luck at finding a few mimic octopus on your safety stop. Cheers, Jun. Really enjoyed that dive, mate. We've done a lot of dives in Malapascua over the years, and every time we go there, we always find something that captures our imagination. Siobhan and I are avid muck divers, and we love nosing around in seagrass and sand, trying to find something of interest. So when we started to hear stories of what could be found on Evolution's house reef, we knew we must go and have a look. What we had heard about was these little fellas, hairy frogfish. Any self-respecting muck diver would definitely have these on their top 10 must-see list. To see one was fantastic, but two together, just brilliant. Despite waiting around for as long as we could, I didn't manage to film them feeding or yawning, but all the same, a great experience. It's strange how areas become hotspots of life, and around this area, probably no more than a couple of 100 square metres, it was just buzzing with the weird and wonderful. We saw more than 6 frogfish, seahorses galore, robust ghost pipefish, stacks of spiny devilfish, and countless crabs of all shapes and sizes. Trust me, Malapascua isn't all about sharks and manta. Back to Southern Leyte and to what is considered as the area's premier dive site, Napan Town. Consisting of 2 walls with a slope of about 100 metres between them, Napan Tower, in the right conditions, is up there amongst the best wall dives in the Philippines. In the wrong conditions, it can be a dive guide's nightmare, and should only be dived by divers that can handle strong and erratic currents. For me, Napan Tower's best feature is the very first corner as the wall begins. With a little current running from north to south, it is a veritable fish soup. The wall is covered in large bushes of black coral and Muracella gorgonian fans. It's well worth having a look out for pygmy seahorses on the fans, and almost always there's a frogfish around somewhere. Ascending to the edge of the drop-off, this is where the majority of the fish live. My filming here doesn't really capture how many fish are here, but if you take my word for it, the only other place in the Philippines where you will see more Anthias and Fusiliers is Verde Island near Luzon. Siobhan is now heading over what I call no man's land, the slope between the 2 walls and heading towards the south wall. Again, you will see thousands of Anthias in the shallows, and the most beautiful of soft coral gardens that really comes to life when the sun shines. This is a stunning place, and I love it. If you'd like to see more of our videos, please feel free to subscribe to us on YouTube or like us on Facebook.